All right, welcome back, everyone. We're here at the semifinals now. We have Levi on Sneak and Show, and Varner's opponent from last round, Timothy Karleskint, who obviously pulled that one out. I apologize to everyone that we will not be having robots on camera or parade. But if you watch our upload, which we will be cutting this into a VOD for our Twitch channel, you can go to our Twitch channel and watch the match earlier where Varner was on camera and won quite handily. So definitely very good. So can check that out. So this is semifinals. The other semifinal match has finished already. The players elected not to split in the top 8. I don't know if the top 4 elected to or not. So we are still playing, however, for 2 buys at Eternal Weekend. And again, I want to thank everyone for tuning in. This is a very special stream. Not only is it a Legacy 5K, it is also a charity tournament for the Cancer Research Institute, which, as I touched on earlier, definitely a cause that I hold very personally. 4 years ago now, I was diagnosed with a brain glioma, and the Siteman Cancer Research Institute definitely helped me out a lot getting through that. Everything's clear. I am all good. It's just definitely glad to be here, glad they helped, and glad that we're able to help contribute to a good cause with the help of Jeremy at Missouri MTG, and of course us here at Moonbase Market. Yeah, thank you. This event was fantastic. I cannot wait till we do this regularly. So, yeah, rip Gertrude the tumor. I named my tumor Gertrude, and actually my first officiant gift that I got when I officiated someone's wedding was a t-shirt with the word Gertrude on it in like Atari-style font, 5 times on the front of the shirt. It was honestly like pretty much a perfect gift. And let's see, so we have, I think Levi's going to keep this one. That looked pretty good. Yeah, this was really good. I'd love to see this more often. So event-wise, if you want to come out and check out the space, we do have Legacy every Sunday. We also, if you follow us on Facebook, we post our events there, as well as we will be having sometime soon an event runner going on our website that'll have all our big events coming up. We do a monthly Pauper Point 5K, which is a ton of fun, I think. I love commentating and playing in those events. Pauper's just a great format. So, yeah, the Bazaar playmat was great. And then we also do monthly 1Ks. I believe it's going to be 2 weeks for our next 1K is when we're going to have it. Let me double check real quick, though, actually. I have a calendar pulled up here in front of me. I can take a look. And we've got a Get Probe Scry to the bottom here. So, let's see. Yeah, our Pauper Point 5K this month is going to be on March 31st. Which also, so on Thursday, the 29th, Maplewood has their high-stakes pauper event. Every month when we have their high-stakes pauper, the winner, or every month when we do our Pauper Point 5K the week prior, the Maplewood event grants you free entry into our event. So, Timothy going to free spell Get Probe. Yeah, with the board shorts and the tube socks, definitely a good look that Jeremy's known for. He's out there ready to pass out some cash to these guys. Yeah, the short game. Always recognize the short game. Jeremy has, I'm pretty sure his closet is filled with 32 different kinds of shorts that are absolutely amazing. Yeah, it's Common Legacy, except that you get 4 copies of Gush if you want them, which is awesome. All right, and we'll Delver pass. Land. And playing around Wasteland here fetches a basic island. So that'll be down to 19 then for Levi. Both of these players have done all the work for each other this round so far. And we're going to tap 3 mana for a Show and Tell. I think Timothy obviously knows that we're going to see an Emrakul here from Levi. And this is game 1, so there is no Diabolic Edict. Oh no, we're getting an Omniscience and then a Brainstorm. Gonna try to dig for a fatty. Force of Will, Sneak Attack, Brainstorm, Show and Tell. So we'll play a Sneak Attack. Oh wait, you have to finish resolving your Brainstorm. It's the second time Levi's done that today. Going to Lotus Petal and pass. Pretty underwhelming Omniscience there. I have literally... No, I've seen Jeremy in pants once. I've seen him once wearing pants. So it is something that can happen, just not very often. So we'll swing for 6 here, and that's a pretty good clock right now. And we're going to put a card face down here. And a lot of redundancy on Levi's side, but not a whole lot to do with it. And I have to feel like that this is... I mean, Levi effectively has one more turn because we saw that bolt. Yeah, I imagine that's the case. Yeah, we did see the bolt from Timothy that flipped those Delvers, so he does have 9 damage represented between those 2 Delvers and the bolt. So one more swing is effectively game. So Levi has to dig pretty quickly here. Which, honestly, this is the worst show and tell hand I think I've ever seen with the deck. Show and telling in Omniscience, and then you have nothing but more combo pieces in hand feels very bad. Wasteland, not that it really matters all that much now. And we know what that card is, so we're going to pass it back. We'll get land, swing for 6, down to 7. Well, I suppose Timothy does know that Levi has a force in hand, and draw, go. So, Timothy going to 17 here. We're going to get a bolt, which is going to eat a force of will out of Levi's hand. And he actually just has the one hand, or the one turn left, sorry, at this point. Yeah, that was just a really bad hand. I mean, he got the turn 1, turn 2, show and tell into Omniscience, but the rest of his hand was just nothing. Cabal Therapy, and revealing double show and tell, so down to, yep, there it is. And Gristlebrand up next. So Timothy pulls that one down pretty handily. Didn't look like it was going to go that way. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen show and tell into Omniscience on turn 2 lose. That is incredibly difficult for that to happen. So I think we may have had a world first here, especially on camera. Camera matches, I don't think that has literally ever happened. That's effectively LSV forgetting to register tendrils in his main and just letting people scoop. So that's pretty brutal. And again, Levi here definitely bringing in Pyroclasms for this game, as well as potentially Lavamancer if he has it in his board. I think Through the Breach may come in as well. He is on the Intuition plan, though, so he has a little bit more consistency than a lot of the lists. It'll be interesting to see what he decides to do about Intuition. Timothy does have Dedicts, so those are definitely coming in. It's one of the... I mean, it's basically the only piece of sideboard interaction you have for Sneak and Show. You're not packing any Caracas or anything like that, so this'll be interesting to see for sure.
Just a heads up, the show and tell player, or the Grixis Delver player, just realized that he does not play Cabal Therapy in his lead deck, and they are currently resolving that right now.
Oh wow. Okay, so thank you. Timothy evidently had Cabal Therapy in his main, and he runs it in his sideboard, not his main. So they're actually resolving that judge call currently, and this is actually huge. It pre-sideboarded in top 8 at Comp Rel. There's no downgrade. I mean, he's welcome to appeal, but I don't think that's going to go well, regardless of the intention. So this is interesting, and Timothy looking a little panicked here because I think he kind of realizes, yeah. and I'm going to confirm real quick. I believe it's a game loss. Might be match, but I'll double check. So, interesting ruling there. Since Game 1 had resolved when the error was realized, our head judge, Billy, I believe, did not issue anything except a warning. There's no... Yeah, he did actually cast it. So he actually explained to me he can't use coverage to establish a ruling, and since both players had said that they were out of Game 1, that the Cabal Therapy did not matter because the game was over at that point, which, granted, it effectively was, but it was cast. There was just a warning issued, so no game loss. No match loss, just a straight warning with a very stern, don't do that again. Although, I'm curious now as to what else was in his main. That was cited out for therapy. So that'll be interesting. Obviously, Diabolic Edict comes in. And we'll see how this continues then. So, Levi on the play, and doesn't actually seem too upset by this. Timothy seems more worried than Levi does, although Levi obviously can just win on turn 1. So, that could very realistically be part of it. Yeah, I'm not sure exactly how it was explained to the judges. I know what we saw on camera, but again, I was not the head judge. I'm not going to speak one way or the other, but definitely not what I expected the ruling to be. I expected it to be a game loss, not close, and I mean, I've seen match losses issued for the same infraction. So, especially in the top 8 of an event like this, where you have $3,200 to the top 8. Yeah, I'm not sure about that. But yeah, that was the ruling. So that's what we're sticking by here. And Levi will be on the play, which I would love to see Levi pull this down. He's been on camera 3 times now, also running that Singleton Steam Vents. So always, let's see here. We have Pyroblast, Ponder, 1 land, and a Brainstorm. I don't think you keep that at all. That just does not look like a good opener. Timothy showing his 7 there as he mulligans. Something you can choose to do. Oh no, that's Pyroclasm, not Pyroblast. So we have a potential just board wipe here that we could see. Timothy is on 2 True Names, I believe, main. So that is an early threat that he can drop that does not just lose to Pyroclasm. Everything else, though, Deathrite, Delver, any of his other stuff is pretty much dead. Gurmag Angler, not so much. Although, getting a turn 2 to 3 Gurmag is pretty god hand for the most part here. So definitely not something you'll see very often, if at all. So Timothy down to 6. And I guess Levi elected to keep that hand. which seems a little bizarre. Timothy was about to scry there. And we have True Name Therapy now. Scry to top. So we're going to Delta Pass, and that's a double therapy. So the potential here to completely rip apart the hand. And we're going to crack a fetch land down to 19 in response here. And therapy for the second time today in 2 games out of the sideboard. Coming in, and we'll see what we have going on here. I didn't hear what Tim named, although I'm not sure. All right, and we will have a brainstorm. So we're going to hide some pieces here. So Emrakul definitely going on top, I have to think. And let's see. There's another brainstorm there. And we can't get a flashback right now, because this was turn 1 therapy, so next turn he can cast it again, because he does have a second therapy in hand. So we have Pyroclasm, Emrakul, Ponder, Brainstorm, double Gristlebrand. So this is actually just not a very good hand that Levi kept. I don't know, I think that's a really sketchy keep game 2 on the play. So we have, yeah, double Gristle Daddy, Emrakul, Ponder, Brainstorm, Pyroclasm. Very, I don't know, I'm definitely going to ask Levi about that, because that is not the hand I would keep. And we're going to Brainstorm again. Main phase, digging for a land drop here. And if he doesn't have a land, I think this game's just over. I mean, we get therapy this turn for Pyroclasm, and which is pretty much the only relevant piece Levi has. And we'll get a Lotus Petal, so not great. Lotus Petal into Ponder. So just doesn't want the cards on top of his hand, or on top of his library. And then we'll look at the 3. Yeah, the ruling was, yep, exactly, thank you. Alright, so we'll get a crack on a fetch land here, so Tim also down to 19. And we'll get a Vulcan. I have to think that we'll see that second therapy here. Granted, the Ponder and the Brainstorm are gone out of his hand. So we have double Gristlebrand, though, which we know is effectively a 4th of the threats in his deck. So getting rid of those 2, he doesn't have any type of reanimation. Yeah, Levi is pretty nonplussed most of the time. He just doesn't, he pretty much goes with the flow from what I've seen. He's pretty laid back, not very emotive. Like, he's funny, he's nice, but not super animated all the time. And we're going to present for shuffle, and actually we're going to get a Pyromancer. So we're going to bait out the Pyroclasm, and we'll get Probe down to 17. So we have Gristlebrand, Emrakul, Pyroclasm. Can't really tell what the other 2 are. So it looks like we have Ponder, Clasm, Emrakul, Gristlebrand, and I can't see what the other one was. It was something with a C. Either way, I think we'll see a cracked fetch land here from Levi into Pyroclasm. Don't think there's going to be much else. We're going to sack, flash back. Yeah, never mind. So now we're going to name Pyroclasm, presumably. Alright, so in response to the therapy, we're going to sack a fetch land. Sack a fetch land, get a volcanic. And we will spell pierce the Cabal therapy. So, Pierce eats therapy, Pyroclasm lives to see one more turn. And we do have now 2 creatures out there. Tim does have a True Name Nemesis in his hand as well that we saw in his opener. Oh, there we go. We'll hit a Pyroclasm, and there was a Show and Tell as well. So, unfortunately, we have Therapy, Flashback Therapy on the other side. Yeah, I am actually very fond of those cameras as well. I think that's one of the most entertaining things you can do with any match of Magic, is show the players' reactions as things happen. It's definitely an emotional game, and you get a lot of feel for what they're going through, in addition to just being able to see it. And there have been times where we've seen people with just insane top decks, and their reactions are absolutely incredible. Just so over-the-top animated that it's just great to see. Yeah, the top-down cam, we actually have a 4K camera that we typically use that we're experiencing some technical difficulty with, and we're getting it fixed this week, so it'll be resolved. You can tune in Tuesdays for Modern and see it. It actually is fantastic. Can make out the text on the cameras and everything. So there's Therapy. We'll get a token. Yeah, so there's not on the cameras themselves, but there is... Oh, and Levi just presenting his hand prior to Tim naming anything. And Tim pretty clearly... Oh, Show and Tell. Gone. Oh, that was pretty good. And we can just flash it back now. Hit. Sneak attack. Yep. And that basically represents the game. Tim running away with this one now. So Levi, unfortunately, it looks like out in the top 8. We had that judge call after game 1, which some of the chat did not agree with. I don't really know either way. Personally, I thought that was not the way that should have been ruled. Based on my understanding, I didn't think it went that way. But the judge knows better than I do, so I will absolutely cede to their knowledge on that one. And so we hit a land drop, and we're passing. And it looks like both therapies. All right, there's 5 down to 9 for Levi, who is still... Woof. All right, we're going to get a wasteland off of your land there. And... Oh, that's a good one. Tomb, we do still have that fetch land, so we have 5 more coming this time. Down to 4 life. So the... Yeah, I don't entirely know what was explained to the player or to the judges or anything. Basically what happened was the last turn of game 1, Tim cast a Cabal Therapy and named some card. The issue is that Tim does not main deck his Cabal Therapies. He runs them in the side. And he acknowledged this after the game was over and was not issued game or anything. And we have Blood Moon doesn't do a whole lot when you're facing down that board state. So yeah, it's but yeah, effectively they issued a warning. They didn't have anything else, no match loss, game loss, just a warning. So Tim taking that one down 2 games to none. Yeah, I thought it was a game loss, but as the judge explained it to me, since it was brought to their attention after game 1, they can't go back and do anything retroactively. So yeah, not entirely sure on that one. Well, they actually everyone had access to deck lists. This is top 8, so they do get to see everybody's deck lists prior. They had access to all that, so it was definitely not what I expected. He was just issued a warning and told, don't do that again. Yeah, this is Comp-Rel, so everyone has deck lists, and top 8, everyone has access to everyone else's deck lists. So, yep, exactly. Um, yeah, not sure. Yeah, yeah, I'm not entirely sure what happened. It was the last turn, and Timothy had won anyways if he hadn't cast it. Not that that makes a difference. It was just that was how it played out. So Tim taking it down, going to the finals here, and keep in mind these finals are for not only first place but also 2 rounds at Eternal Weekend, and either the Vintage or Legacy champs, whichever they choose to enter in, which obviously a big deal. So definitely, definitely worth sticking around to see this, and definitely something that I like seeing is events like this coordinating with larger events, giving out prizes to those that are relevant. Just all around good for the format. So definitely, definitely good.